Today's Sunshine Note is titled 10-Story Fall. Every test that you have experienced is the kind that normally comes to people, but God keeps His promise, and He will not allow you to be tested beyond your power to remain firm. At the time you are put to the test, He will give you the strength to endure it and so provide you with a way out. 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 13. If anyone should have a reason to give up on God, it would probably be my friend Frank. I first met him when I was the guest speaker at a church one Sabbath morning. I remembered seeing a man sitting alone in the last pew on the left-hand side. It was Frank. He came up to me after church and said, "I have been away from God for 17 years. When I woke up this morning, something told me to go to church, and this was the closest one. Your sermon reached me, and I've given my life back to God." That was Sabbath morning. By Monday afternoon, Frank was a quadriplegic. Along with his job as a local fireman, Frank also owned a tree service business. That Monday morning, he was 100 feet up a tree, the height of a 10-story building. He was sawing off the top of the tree, and just as it started to fall, he realized his safety line was hooked to it, so he fell to the ground. The impact of his 100-foot fall was so great that his left hip bone was driven out through his pants. Still awake, Frank felt and heard his lungs gurgling and fizzing, filling up with blood. He could barely breathe, and his sight and hearing were gone. With what he thought was his last breath, he cried out to God, "Don't let me die." Instantly, he could see and hear, and he could breathe. In the emergency room, he overheard one doctor say, "I can't believe this guy's alive. Both lungs are totally collapsed, but he is breathing normally." Frank was told in the ER that he was paralyzed. "For the first 3 months, all I could move were my eyeballs," he told me. At times, I wondered if this was what the rest of my life would be like, lying in bed, only able to move my eyeballs. I had to hold on to hope. I had nothing else but hope that I might improve. I was almost constantly praying, "God, please don't let this turn out as bad as it looks." Frank could have said, "If you give your life to God on Saturday and 2 days later you're a quadriplegic, forget it." But he did not. God was at work. Tomorrow I will tell you how. Every test that you have experienced is the kind that normally comes to people, but God keeps His promise, and He will not allow you to be tested beyond your power to remain firm. At the time you are put to the test, He will give you the strength to endure it, and so provide you with a way out. 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 13. May God bless you today.